Welcome back to Worth Thinking News. The biggest news this week is the event vehicles. The first 3 of them for Operation Frost have been open to the public, so be sure to hit the subscribe button. The new QF 3.7 Ram Ranch is an amazing tank and the pinnacle of no armor is best armor. Coming into you at 5.0, the thickest piece of armor on this bad boy would have to be the breech block at 150 millimeters of structural steel, which is about, 75 millimeters of actual steel? And the thickest piece of actual armor would be what's covering the transmission at 50.8 millimeters, with the vast majority of it being 10 millimeters thick. Well, actually, the vast majority is no armor at all. It's just a gun shield and a thing to stand on. In fact, the driver, who you would expect to be behind at least a window, has no armor. It's just a hole. So you need to see where he was going. So as a 5.0 machine guns could kill it, how is that good? Well, maybe you haven't heard, but no armor is best armor. This theory comes into play because so many shells rely on a fuse in their APAG to set off the AG bit and explode in the tank, while this tank has 7 crew members and the armor is too thin to set off any of the fuses. Even a good part of the whole armor, the one part that is thick, covers the transmission, in which the transmission will absorb most of the shrapnel that the shell had made, and at best will kill the driver or machine gunner who doesn't have a machine gun, which gives you the opportunity to put a 94mm hole in them. Now, the other great part about this armor is that it's actually there. It's thin enough to not set off shells, but it's thick enough to block most machine guns and HE shells. In fact, even some of the bigger ones, like the ones on the Stuart Emile, will, if hit the gun shield, only kill one of the 7 crew members. It, however, will not block 50 cals. If you see a Sherman, kill it before it notices you, because it's going to turn you into Swiss cheese. Also, Whirlwinds will murder you. However, the Whirlwind can murder most tanks, so that's not much of a change. But the best part of all on its armor is, since it's based on the Ram chassis, its sides are 38.1 millimeters, which according to Gaijin means that it does not suffer from hull break. Why the Sergeant York has thicker sides and suffers from hull break, I don't know, don't ask me. So all this results in a tank in which shells fly right through, and then you have the optimal opportunity to murder them. It's extremely hilarious in combat, because the enemy thinks that they can kill you in one shot. They can't. Although neither can you. Let's talk about this gun. The main shell of the 94mm OQF Mark II is a APCBC, which travels at 792 meters per second and can deliver 204 millimeters of penetration at 10 meters, 202 at 100 meters, and 192 at 500 meters. Normally, when you have penetrations like this at such a low battle rating of 5.0, the gun is amazing. However, there are some pretty huge trade-offs. First one being that this a Canadian, which is basically Britain tank, has no explosive filler. So as they shoot right through you, you're gonna shoot right through them. Although they don't have 7 crew members, and typically theirs are stacked together upon that. The other trade-off is that angled penetration is horrific. At 10 meters, you only have 70 millimeters of penetration at 60 degrees. Although at 100 meters and 60 degrees, you have 69 penetration. All these factors together in the field perform as being able to murder T-34s and Panzer 3s and 4s in one shot. Larger Russian tanks like the KVs and ISs will take multiple shots and will more likely end up in assists, which seems like a very Canadian thing to do. Despite having no explosive filler, because of the girth of the shell of 94 millimeters, you'll be able to still hull break the hull breakable tanks. The reload rate isn't anything spectacular like the VFW, but it's not bad, with the base reload being 7.8 seconds and the top being at 6 seconds. It's not a slow tank by any means. It's only 29 tons and has a 400 horsepower engine at 2,400 RPMs. This allows the vehicle to reach 40 kilometers an hour. However, it falls in line with other British tanks as having just about no reverse speed. However, why would you want to do that in the first place? Victory isn't behind you. So here's some gameplay strategies for the vehicle. First of all, you don't have to worry about what parts to research first because it's a premium. However, for crew skills, I'd say to put them into reload and repair. Reload because you have no HE filler in your shells, so you're really going to want to be taking out that second, third shots as fast as you can. And repair because it seems quite often that people will aim for the gun hoping to hull break or something, which ends up damaging your gun and making you not able to return fire. Before you get into the match, you're going to want to take 22 shells at max. The largest way I find myself being killed is by ammo racking, and the ammo is stored in these little boxes right below the gun deck with just about no armor around them. It's split up into 11 round chunks, and if you take off 22, you'll only have them on one side of your tank. Now, if you feel like you're a real MLG pro, you you could take only 11, but remember, we're talking about British-style cannons here. You're gonna be throwing a lot of shells at the enemy before they die. I don't know, man. Maybe you are really that Canadian and just want to help out the team. Now, when you're in the match, you're probably thinking, well, it's just a big gun and no armor. I should probably use this as a sniper. Completely disagree. This is a brawling tank because shells fly right through you. So you just drive up. Don't even wait for them to make the mistake. You make the mistake. Well, what they assume is a mistake. And then the Tiger shoots their shell and it goes right through, and you bounce back with a 200mm penetrating round to their front plate and take out their machine gunner and maybe engine. And you're like, oh god, I gotta get another one. But it's okay because the Tiger has a much longer reload than you. Like, seriously, that's what I love so much about this tank. It's just so stupid. It's like all of the War Thunder BS that happens and you get really upset finally is on your side. You are the one with the BS. You're the BS master. That's what they should name this tank. You also want to avoid large fields and things like that because it's really easy for an airplane to spot you and then just light you up with their cannons and whatnot. So stick to buildings and in forests. Go straight up. You be the main assault after the Hellcats because those crazy cocained up Americans really need to get through that tier as fast as they can. Abrams isn't going to grind itself. Dealing with Russians, this thing's pretty easy. T-34s, just shoot the front plate. You'll kill most of the crew. If you can't get the front plate, doing the turret typically does the same thing. As I said earlier, of course, the KVs and ISs are going to be more of an issue because they're so big and the crew is a bit more spread out. But luckily, thanks to your 200mm of penetration, you'll be able to get through their armor. Just expect someone else to end up taking your kill. America's a similar situation. You should be able to punch through Shermans very easily. Jumbos, in fact, you can even punch through, though you will have less spalling because of the thicker armor. And of course, you can also just punch through the front of the turret of the Jumbo. You have that potential. As for the other nations, well, no one really plays Italy, France, Japan, and China's just a mix of Russia and the United States. The people who will give you the most trouble are the Germans, as Tiger 1s, while angled, are extremely hard to penetrate. However, the area right where the tracks are can actually get punched through pretty easily. That or the front of the turret. Panzer 3s and 4s are really just poorly made Shermans, so just shoot them anywhere, they're gonna die. And Stugs are just short Panzer 3s and 4s. What you really have to worry about are the Panthers, because this thing has terrible angled penetration. Your gun can actually get through the front plate of the Panther, but only at close ranges, and you typically seem to meet them at pretty long ranges. And those situations, it's best to shoot for the turret or the lower front plate, or just wait for someone else to kill them. Another point to stay alive is always try to keep the gun pointing forward, as that 10mm gun shield is the only thing stopping everyone's machine guns from destroying your entire crew. And you can't actually turn the thing all the way around. Unfortunately, you have two more Canadians in the back who I swear just jumped on to get some souvenirs from the war. If you happen to be on the enemy team and run into one of these things, the best ways to take them out, I would say to shoot on the right side of the gun shield. That's where the gunner is. Machine gun the driver so it's stationary, and then aim for the ammo. Or just spawn in a plane and murder the thing from the sky. Or spawn in a whirlwind and destroy the entire battlefield. Those things are OP, I'm telling you guys. The other two event vehicles, I didn't play too much. The Russian TIS-AM is actually a really great plane. And honestly feels a little under-tiered. I think it should be like 4.0 or something. It only has 4 forward-facing guns. That extra thingy is an antenna, or I don't know, maybe they're trying to scare people, make the plane look more aggressive. You get two 20mm Shevaks in the nose, and you can have either two 45mm guns or two 37mm guns. The 45s I find are pretty useless. I guess maybe good for taking out soft targets and air battles, although even then the 37s also have explosive rounds, the air target belts. So I don't see the use for these, besides, I don't know, the glory of it, but they're too inaccurate to be like shooting down airplanes. Maybe bombers? 37s are much better. AP belts have 60mm of penetration, so they can absolutely eviscerate enemy tanks like the Panzers 3s and 4s, Shermans, and maybe even Panthers if you're good at it. But for those thicker boys, you can carry two 500kg bombs, which drop independently. And if you want to make some sort of crazy montage and show off your skills, you can attach some rockets to it. However, the rockets are on the very tips of the wings, so it's kind of hard to hit anything. As for defensive guns, you have one ya boy in the back with a 50 cal. It's a Russian 50 cal, so mean words will probably do a better job. But if you've been grinding through the Russian tank tree and need something as air support, this would be the perfect aircraft for you, as all of the ground attackers in that BR range that you would typically see are either the Peshka 3s, which don't have 500kg bombs, nor the 37mm cannons, the IL-2s, which have the rockets, not the bombs, and one of them does have the cannons but less ammunition, and those are on far out the wings, so they're harder to aim with. This is by hands down the best ground attacker you have till 4.3, where you can drop Stalin's mixtape and the PEB-8. As for the final event vehicle of the first three would be the US boat, the 94-foot PT-811, armed with 4 torpedoes, 2 40mm Bofors guns, 2 turrets of 2 20mm Oerlikon cannons, and an 81mm mortar turret. This thing actually has a pretty typical armament of US motorboats, but it has one thing different, being able to reach 102 kilometers an hour. You can speed across the map very fine. Mix that together with the 2 Bofors cannons, you can easily get around those corners and BTFO those enemy boats without them even realizing that you're behind them. However, this boat comes at you at 3.7, which you don't know is destroyer territory. So more likely than not, you'll find yourself running into 120mm cannons. And destroyers do not care about how many Boforces you have. I was hoping to use this vessel to grind out the US tree, as it is premium. However, I found the Echo 80-foot PT-556 that'll be a whole lot more fun and get me more kills. Like, seriously, I don't know how it does, but that turret with 420 mils in the back really murder things. And with the sparks, it looks amazing. Honestly, don't even bother going with this PT-811. Go for the PT-556. It's a whole lot more fun. And it's a lower battle rating of 3.0, so you're going to run to a whole lot less destroyers. So those are my reviews of the first tier of event vehicles for the winter event. I will be able to get my hands on the next tier of winter event vehicles earlier than everyone else, as I'm a content creator, on the 5th of January. Unfortunately, the 5th of January is a Sunday, so I'm not sure if I will live stream it. I'll try to, but it might get in the way of making a video, as I do make these every Sunday. But there was some other actual news that came out this week. Gaijin had rolled out a new bug reporting system, in which bug reporters, if they did it a lot and did it well, could actually receive some golden eagles and an in-game title. Personally, I feel like what they should actually do is give a small amount of golden eagles, size depending on how prudent this bug was, to whoever had first reported it successfully. So when the average player does see something weird happening, they don't think, oh, that's funny, or oh, that's stupid, and then completely ignore it because they don't want to have to go through the annoying and long process of taking a screenshot, getting your weird files ready, typing out a really well-detailed description on how you fell upon this and what happened, just for that to end up in, oh, we'll fix the map in like 2 months. If people got golden eagles for doing that stuff, they'd be doing that all day, putting their high school essay writing skills to work. You could probably get this game bug spotless in like a month if you gave enough golden eagles it out. There's a lot of teenagers here who don't have access to credit cards or anything like that, so they can't buy the stuff regularly and they have to go bug their mom or dad. And this would give them another opportunity that doesn't involve downloading some sketchy app that some YouTuber told them to. Although no, Guy decided to go with the other method of, if you report a lot of bugs, we'll give you a one-time payment of 1,000 golden eagles and an in-game title. Oh, and extended form upload space. Other than that, there was some winter events where you could get a little mouse captain decal. Kind of cute, but I don't really care about it. What I think is most exciting, and also not really much you could report on, is that there is a button somewhere in the control files that allows you to activate engine extinguishers to put out engine fires. Well, actually, currently it does nothing. Sergeant Viddy, the YouTuber, made a, well, as far as good video you will make on this, because it's a button that you can assign that does nothing. Currently. I'll link his video and all that. And that's just about all the news I have for this week. And I know most of this video is me talking about how Ram Ranch really rocks. So first off, I thank you to my YouTube members, CT Center, Grimace, Samurai, I like them thick, Edi Nahui Sukabliet, Mighty Peppers, Pointless Gunsinks, and Waffly Joker 6. Thank you to all of them. For $5 a month, you could join them as well. YouTube members get videos uploaded to them a little bit early, stream emojis, and a unique Discord role. But if you have any comments, concerns, or questions, be sure to hit me up down below or on my Discord. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I make War Thunder Weekly News videos every Sunday. I make random videos throughout the week, and I like to stream on Saturdays, so be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. In the terms of bonus news, there was quite a few things in the changelog, like a lot of changes. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there was a slight nerf to the R-60 air-to-air missiles, but it actually didn't really change anything. A bunch of Russian tanks got some buffs. Typical changelog stuff, nothing like interesting or games changing. Kind of lost my train of thought with this video because I recorded all of it last night. I have to try to figure out what I was doing. Anyways, Happy New Year!